everybody.
Hello. Yes. Busy.
thing.
Thank you all so much for joining us for Carolina News at Noon. After a pretty warm start to the week, a lot of us were out there walking. We're now looking ahead to snow. I said the S word. You heard me right. We have a KARE 11 weather impact alert day scheduled for tomorrow. And after that, something we've all got our minds on.
With the election just days away, candidates are targeting the last undecided voters. I'm taking you through those final moments.
Very important, but first, let's go ahead and get a first look at our weather with Ben. Lots of things happening, Benjamin.
It's the proverbial calm before the storm. Yeah, today's going to be fairly quiet, but we have issued a KARE 11 weather impact alert for tomorrow. Specific timing is during the first part of the day from between 4 a.m. and 1 p.m. That's again tomorrow. We do expect widespread showers to turn over to some snow, and yes, some accumulation is possible, especially areas north of the Twin Cities. Need to use some caution when traveling. And some of the snow could be heavy at times and visibility could be an issue as well. More on that coming up. Take a look at temperatures right now. Much different than this time yesterday. Most of us have seen temperatures fall. We're now in the mid-50s. And guess what? Temperatures could slowly drop as we head deeper into the afternoon. You look at the last 12 hours, we were still in the 70s at 5 o'clock this morning before that front finally pushed through. Temperatures again low to mid-50s, and we're going to see even cooler air move in as we head into tomorrow. Right now we have our radar satellite composite showing mainly just an overcast day. However, the first swath of moisture is moving into the Omaha, Nebraska area. That's going to give mainly areas in south central and southeastern Minnesota a good soaking rain. That's forecast later this evening and overnight tonight. The main snowy system is still yet to develop. That'll be pushing in near sunrise tomorrow. So here's a look at the next 12 hours. Temperatures again slowly falling. By dinner time tonight, we'll be pushing into the upper 40s to low 50s. Some showers pushing through between 5 and 6 o'clock, but most of the rain and potential snow arrives tomorrow. We'll have more details on this coming up. Alexis.
Ben, thank you. Today, we know more about the man shot by police in St. Paul earlier this week. He's now being linked to 2 Minneapolis shootings. Michelle Beck has the latest.
The last we heard from the Minnesota BCA, Earl Bennett is still at Regents Hospital fighting for his life. St. Paul police say their officers didn't know who he was until after they shot him. Turns out he's linked to 2 shootings since Sunday. 2 people died and 2 others were hurt in those shootings, which started at a Minneapolis homeless encampment Sunday. While MPD says Bennett is the suspected shooter, he has not been officially charged. He is, though, charged with first-degree attempted murder in a shooting roughly 24 hours later at a sober living facility. Charging documents suggest the 40-year-old lived there and on Monday was intoxicated and got angry when he learned he would be drug tested. That's when he allegedly took the gun and shot someone in the neck. We also know that he showed up in St. Paul less than 3 hours after that. Prosecutors in Hennepin County say they are seeking high bail amounts because he is considered a risk to public safety. In St. Paul, Michelle Beck, KARE 11 News.
Michelle, thank you. And Adam Frable is back in court again today following a day of emotional testimony from Maddie Kingsbury's family. Maddie's mother told the jury the day before Maddie disappeared, she was distraught. She claims Maddie said Frable was hovering over her and making her feel uncomfortable. She and Maddie's father both testified about domestic abuse allegations that Maddie told them about. Frable is charged with killing Maddie after a pattern of domestic abuse. There is a chance that lawyers begin closing arguments of that trial by Friday, but it's also possible that that won't happen until next week. The Minneapolis man accused of shooting his neighbor is now in jail on a $1 million bail. John Sawchek made his first court appearance in the last 24 hours. We now know 10 people have filed restraining orders against him over the last 15 years. The man Sawchek allegedly shot last week reported several threats and acts of vandalism in the last few months. Sawchek's next court appearance is scheduled for the week of Thanksgiving. Well, it's been more than 4 years since George Floyd's murder. Now we're getting a better look at the new vision for 38th and Chicago.
I'm Jessica Hart. The city of Minneapolis unveiled its new street design for George Floyd Square. There will be a new street, a sidewalk that will be ADA accessible, green space, memorial sites, artwork, and a space for gatherings. They also plan to replace the lead pipes that are currently underneath the square. The city is calling it a flexible, open design that will have features to allow them to shut the street down for big events. If they get the approval they need, construction is scheduled to start next year after the 5th anniversary of Floyd's death.
Well, turning now to the election, candidates continue a nearly nonstop trek around the country trying to earn new voters and taking aim at each other's policies. Cece, I know that we've seen a lot of stops in the Midwest. What's still to come?
Yeah, I have a look at each candidate's schedule today. Both candidates have a busy one. VP Harris will travel from Pennsylvania to Madison, Wisconsin to North Carolina. Trump will visit North Carolina too, and also Green Bay, where he'll be joined by Packers legend Brett Favre. And right now, both candidates are sending dueling messages. Trump calling Harris, quote, a train wreck who has destroyed everything in her path. He's also courting Latinos, trying to cool anger after a comedian's vulgar comments about Puerto Rico at one of his rallies. Meanwhile, Harris is calling on Americans to turn the page on divisive politics. She wants to cast herself as a unifier. She warns a second Trump term would bring more serious consequences.
We know who Donald Trump is. He is the person who stood at this very spot nearly 4 years ago and sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol to overturn the will of the people in a free and fair election.
If we win Pennsylvania, we're going to win the whole deal. Got to do it. Next Tuesday, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala that you've had enough. You're not going to take it anymore.
Now, Trump and Harris won't be the only ones campaigning today. Governor Tim Walz will also be campaigning in North Carolina, and Senator J.D. Vance will hold a town hall in Pennsylvania.
Cece, thank you. Minnesota has made voting more accessible for people whose first language is not English. Last year, the state legislature passed a law requiring voting instructions to be available in the 3 most commonly spoken non-English languages in Minnesota at all polling locations. That's Somali, Hmong, and Spanish. The state also has a petition process where if 20% or more of the population speaks English less than very well, 10 or more registered voters may file a request to have an interpreter at their polling place. Places like Minneapolis already have stationed interpreters based on need.
I'm not here to persuade anybody in any type of way. I'm just literally here to help them vote. And that's what I vocalize to the voters when they come in. I don't care however you vote. My job is to make sure that you understand the process of voting.
And under the Federal Voting Rights Act of 1965, anyone in Minnesota can bring someone to the polls to help them, whether it's because of a physical disability or a language barrier. But that person cannot influence the person's vote. Election judges are trained to spot behavior that is not allowed. When election night comes around, make sure that you stick with us here at KARE 11 for results in Minnesota and across the country. We'll be streaming all night starting at 5:30 p.m. on KARE 11 Plus with live reports, results, and expert analysis. You can download KARE 11 Plus on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Well, we've got a recall alert for parents out there. Minnesota has now been added to the list of states impacted by a potentially contaminated baby powder. The recall on Dynacare brand baby powder began months ago in 12 states. The FDA says recent tests indicate a possible risk of asbestos. Now the recall has been expanded to 35 states. The company says it has stopped distribution of the products and is investigating what could have caused a contamination. Turning